are three things in every building that have to be considered, without which none deserve credit. These are usefulness or convenience, durability, and beauty. For one could not describe as perfect a building which was useful, but only briefly, or one which was inconvenient for a long time, or, being both durable and useful, was not beautiful.
In Veneto, in the 50 kilometers between Vicenza and Venice, there are 20 or so of the most beautiful homes in the world. Villas designed by Andrea Palladio some 500 years ago. I've come here in search of people who have the good fortune to live or work in these homes. Men and women somewhat special, who I like to call the PALLADiANS. My discovery journey in search of the people who today live in the famous Palladio villas continues on the outskirts of the city of Vicenza, in the hills that separate the plains from the Alps. The owner of the first villa designed by Palladio is Mr. Girolamo Godi. It is said that from its windows could be seen only the horizon and no other houses. I wondered whether the 5 centuries that have passed since then have had an impact on those who are lucky enough to live here today.
Palladio
built villas in the region of Veneto in the years 1540-1580. They were actually conceived as homes to be run and managed by the owners as self-sufficient enclaves. That's important. Palladio wasn't so mad as to create a villa as a cost. He built and structured the villa as if it were a self-contained company. At that time, what was lucrative business? Agriculture, land. This allowed the villa to feed itself. So today, the villa needs a new idea, a new way to turn things round financially for the villa. And this is it.
Acqua, poca Sprite, giusto, caffè, cappuccino. È tutto a posto. Controllate la birra a questo punto. Ecco, una cosa, NDR, il vino. Rosso, secco e un chiaro di luna. Una barra di vino. Sottoppiato in cristallo. Buffet sotto, giù da basso. Di qua passano
30,000 or more people come through here every year. Tourists, banquets. I've met people who had no idea where they were, and people who knew where they were, and perhaps all too well. I've received offers to buy the place, to rent it. Some people say these frescoes are horrendous. They would like to see them covered up. Then there are people that would like to take a piece of furniture away with them, this being a custom at wedding receptions.
Usanze, matrimoni, porta via qualcosa. Qualcuno che mi ha...
I've even been called Palladio myself, since I own the place and this is a Palladian villa.
I've certainly come to understand that being a Palladian is no easy task. With some villas transformed into restaurants and conference centre, others semi-abandoned, concealing their elegance, I wondered whether there were any Palladian villas left that retained their original functions.
I'd always lived here. This was my home. I used to play in the grounds by myself a lot. My memories are mostly linked to the garden, the trees, climbing trees, and the animals I used to play with.
Vieni, su. Dai, su. Guarda. Oh, sì che somiglia che...
You really look like a little dog out of a Veronese painting.
I'm back in places where I grew up. The gardens, a walk among the water lilies. To tell you the truth, years ago we had an offer to turn the whole farm into a golf course. Luckily, we all got together as a family and discussed it, and the reply was unanimously agreed upon, and immediate. Thanks, but no thanks. We weren't interested. Keeping the land the way it was the most important thing. Besides, imagine having Palladio himself haunting you every night after that. It wouldn't have been nice.
I would never have imagined that my journey through Veneto would have taken me so far. I never knew that Palladio was the most imitated architect in the world. This discovery led me to the Middle East, to meet another Palladian inspired by Palladio for the construction of his own home. One of Andrea Palladio's most extraordinary works.
The first time I saw the Rotonda was when I visited Vicenza in 1995. I fell in love with the Rotonda, and I said, this is the kind of a building I want to build in one of the mountains of my hometown, Nablus.
I
remember lots of cousins, like a team, for having fun. We played and went to the farm to see the animals, to pick fruit, sometimes to lend a hand.
It was certainly a privileged childhood, an almost fairy tale childhood. Anybody can see that this is no ordinary house. And yet it's true that if your family lives here, it's still home.